Welcome to Mindful Stories, a place where stories are not told to entertain alone, but to awaken thought, calm the mind, and offer quiet wisdom. In today's story, we explore a journey that reminds us how stillness can become strength, and how awareness can change an entire life. This is the story of a man who learned to slow down, listen inward, and discover meaning beyond noise. So take a deep breath, relax your mind, and allow this story to unfold. There are moments in life when everything looks fine from the outside, yet something inside feels deeply unsettled. This story begins in one such moment, with a man who had everything people usually chase, yet felt strangely empty every single day. His name was Arav, and he lived in a busy city where mornings were loud, evenings were rushed, and silence felt almost uncomfortable. People around him were always running toward deadlines, expectations, and dreams that were never fully their own. Arav had a stable job, a decent income, and respect in his workplace. By society's standards, he was doing well. But every night, when the noise faded and the lights dimmed, a quiet question returned to him: why does success feel so heavy? He noticed something unusual about himself. Even on days when he achieved something, the satisfaction lasted only a few minutes. Soon after, anxiety replaced it, pushing him to chase the next goal. Life felt like a race with no finish line. And Arav was exhausted. One evening, after another long day, he decided to walk instead of taking the usual crowded bus. The streets were calmer, and for the first time in weeks, he allowed his thoughts to slow down. That was when he noticed an old man sitting alone on a stone bench near a quiet park. The man wasn't scrolling on a phone, wasn't waiting for anyone, he was simply sitting, completely present. Something about that stillness caught Arav's attention. Without fully understanding why, he sat down nearby. Minutes passed. The old man didn't speak, and strangely, Arav didn't feel the need to fill the silence. Eventually, the old man looked at him and said calmly, "You look tired, not from work, but from thinking." Those words felt uncomfortably accurate. Arav smiled politely but felt exposed, as if someone had seen through him without asking a single question. They began talking, slowly and without urgency. The old man spoke about life not as a competition, but as a process of understanding oneself. Arav admitted something he had never said out loud, that no matter how much he achieved, he felt behind, as if everyone else knew something he didn't. The old man listened carefully and replied, "Most people are not ahead of you. They are just louder about their journey." That sentence stayed with Arav. He realized how much of his stress came from comparison, silently measuring his life against others without knowing their reality. Before leaving, the old man said one final thing: try being still long enough to hear your own voice. That night, Arav didn't scroll through his phone before sleeping. Instead, he sat quietly, uncomfortable at first, but understanding something important: silence reveals things noise hides. The next morning, he didn't change his life dramatically. He made one small decision: he would stop rushing moments that didn't need speed. He started eating without distractions, walking without headphones, listening without planning his reply. Slowly, life began to feel less overwhelming. At work, Arv noticed he made better decisions when he paused instead of reacting instantly. His calm presence started to stand out more than loud confidence ever did. Weeks passed, and something remarkable happened. His anxiety reduced, not because problems disappeared, but because he stopped fighting every thought. He realized that clarity does not come from doing more, but from understanding better. One evening, he returned to the park, hoping to see the old man again. The bench was empty, but the lesson remained. Arv understood that the old man was never meant to guide him forever. He was meant to remind Arv of something he already had: awareness. Life continued to challenge him, but now he faced difficulties with patience instead of panic. He stopped trying to prove himself constantly. And in doing so, he became more authentic. People around him began to trust his judgment. Not because he spoke more, but because when he did, his words were thoughtful. Success still came, but it no longer defined his worth. Peace did. Arv learned that being still does not mean being inactive. It means acting with intention. Years later, someone once asked him the secret behind his calm confidence. Arv smiled and said, "I stopped running from myself." He realized that most people are not unhappy because life is hard. They are unhappy because they never pause long enough to understand it. Stillness gave him clarity. Clarity gave him direction. And direction gave his life meaning. The world remained noisy, fast, and demanding. But Arv no longer felt the need to match its pace. He walked his path quietly, yet firmly. And in that quiet walk, he found strength. He found confidence without arrogance, ambition without anxiety, growth without exhaustion. Arv's life did not change overnight. It changed steadily, deeply, and honestly. Because sometimes, the most powerful transformation begins when you stop trying to become someone else and start listening to who you already are. If this story made you pause, reflect, or see life a little differently, then its purpose is fulfilled. At Mindful Stories, we believe that true growth begins with awareness, and the most powerful lessons are often found in quiet moments. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If you value meaningful stories that inspire clarity and inner strength, do subscribe and stay connected. Until the next story, remain mindful, stay grounded, and keep learning.